Profits is proud to be sponsored by Game of Silks. Go to silks.io to get in the game. Real ownership, real races, real rewards.
Sure bet coffee.
Hey, welcome in. This is Riders Up Tim with another in our Spotlight series of starters for the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby. In this episode, I will be taking a look at the Japanese entry Forever Young. But first, let's give a shout out to our sponsors, Game of Silks, real ownership, real races, real rewards. And speaking of real rewards, I mean, man, I'm seeing a lot of the excitement from the folks in Game of Silks and all of the Kentucky Derby horses that are co-owned by people, their virtual copy in the Game of Silk. So if you haven't checked that out yet, you have really got to give them a look. I know we've got a stable here in Trust the Profits. We actually had our first horse run last week, got a minor check in a minor race, nothing like the Kentucky Derby, but we've got several 2-year-olds, and we're hoping that next year we're sitting here at this race ready to collect some real rewards. And also a shout out to Sure Bet Coffee. They are back as a sponsor of the channel. If you missed out the last time on that promo, that's promo code TTP20. Get you 20% off of some Sure Bet coffee. And I'm going to tell you, as somebody who's an espresso drinker, this stuff, when it comes to regular coffee, I like it. I like it a lot. All right. With that being said, let's jump right in. Forever Young. Let's take a look here. So Forever Young, again, Japanese horse, and there'll be those who criticize me because I didn't capitalize my Y. My apologies. Trainer, Yoshida Yahagi. This is a guy, the man of hats. Everybody knows him, well-known trainer in Japan. He's had a couple of good wins here in the United States in Breeders' Cup races, but he's yet to break through in the Derby. And I will tell you that if the Japanese are going to do it, this is probably it. This is probably their year. I think this is the best horse they've sent over thus far. Jockey for this horse is Ryusei Sakai. I believe that's how you say it. But anyway, he's the regular rider for this horse. Been on board the horse for all 5 of his starts. You can see right there on the slide. He is 5 for 5. 5 races, 5 wins. He ran 3 times as a 2-year-old. Started out at 1 1/8 miles for his first 2 races and won both of those kind of handily, and then finished out his 2-year-old campaign with a win at 1 mile. And then this year, back in February, started out with a big win in the Saudi Derby, just getting up over Bookham Dano, who we all know is a sprinter. And that race was 1 mile. And I will tell you, Forever Young ran into a little bit of trouble in that race and basically was coming hard at the end, and it did not look like he was going to get up. And the official is that he got the win by a head, and I'm telling you, almost looked a little bit closer than that to me. But really good win. And then went on to Maidan, where he won the UAE Derby. Won that one by a comfortable 2 lengths. So that was at 1 mile and 3/16. So he's getting close to that 1 mile and a quarter Kentucky Derby distance. So one of only a couple of horses here that has run 1 mile and 3/16 as we get into the 1 mile and a quarter Derby. So this is a horse again that has done nothing wrong to this point. The knock is going to always be, when are the Japanese going to break through? And as I said, it's going to happen eventually. But at this point, you have to wonder whether or not, this is my personal thought on the matter, is whether or not this is the best route to get into the Derby. I get going to the Saudi Derby and running that race, but I would really love to see, that's late February. Bring the Japanese horse here, run a Derby prep in the United States. I just think that that's the best way. That being said, they did bring the horse in. He's been at Churchill since April 13th. He's working over the track. He looks every bit the incredible horse that he is. Looks great on the track. Obviously, the Japanese have their unique training methods. They come out. He does this 20-minute warm-up session. He's just looked gangbusters on the track. There was a video a bit back. I think I've got a short clip.
You know, they used to all, but I don't know. I know he was this.
But I think that this horse, again, his physical appearance, his performance to date, he's just done absolutely nothing wrong. It's a lot of people I think are going to bet against him merely for the fact that the Japanese haven't won, but and he's got some knocks, so we'll talk about a couple of those. But if you look, what's it going to take for this horse to win the Kentucky Derby? I just think he needs to duplicate those performances in the U.S. and that's what we've not seen. We've seen the Japanese horses do very well in the European qualifiers. If you call them that, they call this the European route, but the Saudi Derby and the UAE Derby, then they come here and they just don't perform as well in the Kentucky Derby. So if he duplicates those performances, I think he's got a legitimate shot to win. One thing the horse is known for, as you see there, is he does not like the kickback. If you've seen him on the track, basically what they have done, what Yahagi has done, is he has put a hood of sorts on the horse. It is not blinkers. There's no cover whatsoever over the eyes. The ear hose are out. So basically, it's just something to cover the face of the horse to kind of help him with the kickback. He did draw post 11 in the post draw this past Saturday. So the question is what that does for him, because you've got horses inside on the rail, in particular, a couple of speed horses that are going to want to go. You've got horses outside that are going to want to go. You've got a horse just to the right of this horse in Track Phantom that I think is going to want to go. So I don't think that this is a horse that wants to go just inside this horse as well. You've got Encino, who again, I think is going to want to go. So T.O. Password in the 10 is going to want to go. So there's going to be a lot of speed right around Forever Young. And obviously he is going to take some kickback. How does he handle it? I think that's the question. If he handles it well and he progresses in the race, then it comes on late like he has been doing, then that's probably going to give him a legitimate shot. One thing about the jockey I found interesting, and I failed to mention when I was talking about Sakai here, is that he came in last week. He came in on Monday. He rode the horse in that workout that you saw there on Tuesday. Rode on Wednesday and then went back to Japan. And he is supposed to come back this Thursday to ride this horse in the Derby. But evidently he had some commitments overseas. And I just found it unusual that he flew all the way in to ride the horse on the track for a couple of days and then went back overseas and is not coming in until Thursday. So we'll see how that plays out. Interesting pedigree note for this horse that I found when I was looking at the race is that you could say that this horse and Sierra Leone are cousins. Their dams are basically half sisters, and the dam of both of those horses, the dam of both horses, is a horse by the name of what was it? Darling My Darling. And a really interesting story. If you haven't looked at that, that was the Debbie Oxley and the breeders of Sierra Leone. They actually bred both of those horses. They let Forever Darling go. That horse sold, and that is the dam of Forever Young. So interesting connection that that dam. A couple generations later, she has two horses, not one, but two in the Kentucky Derby at the very same time. So really interesting pedigree note there. So Sierra Leone obviously is one of the favorites. So you look at this horse and at 10-1, that may not sound like great odds, but that horse is obviously going to be another one of the favorites with so many horses at high odds. Originally, I think a lot of people were projecting this horse at somewhere around 20-1. I don't see it. I think Forever Young may end up being your third, if not fourth favorite in the betting. We'll see how the public plays it and whether or not they like that Japanese horse. Obviously, tons of money coming into the Kentucky Derby, but tons of Japanese money as well. So the Japanese horses, when you look at both of them, and we'll just talk about Forever Young for now, this is going to be the one of the two that's going to take the money, I think. So top speed figure, if you kind of translate speed figures over you've got this horse here had a time form rating of 107, and that 96 there, I apologize for that. I didn't correct my slide there as I was preparing these slides, but that's not for this horse. But this horse, I think this is the knock. I really think this is a knock. When I look at the speed figures of this horse compared to some of the other horses, I just think Forever Young is a tad slower. So my projection is I'm not placing Forever Young as a win candidate. I'm going to say that Forever Young is an underneath play at best. And my personal prediction is I know a lot of people are high on this horse and think that he's got a legitimate shot. And I wouldn't talk him off of that. I think it's a valid opinion. But my personal one is until the Japanese win, until they bring a horse over for perhaps a little bit sooner, I'm going to play against. I'm going to not only play against the horse winning, but if I play this horse in the exotics, it's no more than a try or superfecta play for third or fourth. I don't think this horse, personal opinion, hits the exacta. That's the way I'm going to play it. What do you think? Make sure you like this video. If you thought the content was interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. If you haven't checked out the other Spotlight videos, make sure you do that. I think we've got a lot of interesting content. The Formula put out a full field review today where he kind of talked a little bit about each and every one of the horses. So make sure that you check that one out. And let me know what you think. What do you think of Forever Young's chances? Do you think the Japanese, is this their year? Is this the year that the Japanese finally get their Kentucky Derby win? So let me know what you think, and we will see you in the next video. Riders up.